Um, there we go. Exit out of that. And we are live. All right. What's up, guys? Welcome to the 11th episode. It's been 11 episodes now of Bitcoin and Beers. I'm your host, Noah from Noah's Ark of Crypto. All right. What's up, guys? I'm not drinking a beer today. I'm still not drinking, guys. Okay. I'm dead serious about this diet. I'm about getting myself back into shape. So, unfortunately, it's not Bitcoin and Beers for me. However, we have a special guest today. We have Crypto Michael from Twitter. You guys may or may not know him. If you don't know him, the link to his Twitter is in the description of this video. Michael, how you doing, brother?
I'm kind of stable right now. Yeah, sort of stable through the beer market, but I'm also not drinking, so we just discussed that.
Yeah,
It's working out, it's beer market, so we have to get in shape.
we do. Because when the bull market returns, we'll be sitting on our ass a lot, trying
Yeah,
to
so we got to trade all day, right? So
trade all day and night. So you're not drinking. Oh, but Sandwich is drinking. Sandwich, what's up, brother?
What's up, guys?
What are you
Probably
drinking?
should have been drink. I'm just keeping it local, man. I've got to drink the local Puerto Rico beer. So,
How do you say I've got to drink the local Puerto Rico beer in Spanish?
necesita tomar el cerveza local?
I don't even
Okay.
know if you know what you're saying. Do you know?
I have no clue.
Don't worry.
Wait, Michael, do you speak Dutch?
Deutsch or
Deutsch?
what?
Yeah, I was
Deutsch?
watching your YouTube videos and you kept saying Gordon Avond. Is that what it is?
Yeah,
Gordon?
but it's in German it is Guten Tag, and in Dutch it's Goedenavond. So it's kind of like
A mix.
it's a mix of each other.
Right
Oh,
on.
it ain't that hard. So I can speak a little bit in German, but it's way back from the high school stuff. So like, not gonna try right now.
Awesome. All right. So basically today, guys, normal episode, we're going to talk about the markets. Bitcoin, Ethereum, alts, talk about the news and to see where it goes. Typically lasts hour and a half. No big deal, pretty laid back. So let's get to it. I am going to actually just show you guys the Bitcoin chart really quick, show you what I'm looking at, and then we can talk about it after that. So share my screen here, looking at Bitcoin. It's currently bouncing off of the 50-day moving average, and if we get some upwards buying pressure here into the daily and weekly close, the one thing that I'm noticing is that we could actually kind of have a tweezer candle bottom here, which would be big, right on top of the 50-day moving average. Now, it depends if you're using the linear chart or the logarithmic chart. On the linear chart, we jump back down below this diagonal resistance. On the logarithmic chart, we are right there. And I really like it because we're right at that diagonal resistance and that 50-day moving average, and we're holding both. And again, if we get any buying pressure into the daily and weekly close, this is going to be a tweezer bottom on the daily. And that's 8 p.m. Eastern tonight, for those who don't know. So we got about 5 hours. It's been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, potentially 8 red days in a row. And Sandwich, you said it's what? The record is 8 in a row for Bitcoin?
Yeah, the record is 8. We've done 7 in December of last year and 7 twice in 2014. 7 and 8 in 2014, sorry.
Yeah.
And each time, the important thing actually really note about it is that each time that we had those 7 daily red candles in a row and we had that parabolic of a downtrend, it was accompanied by some sort of major FUD. So in the one in the one in September of last year, not December, that was accompanied by the ban from China. And the 2 in 2014, well, we all know everything that happened in 2014 between Mt. Gox and Silk Road. So this is the first time that we've had it without any major kind of FUD behind it. You could argue that the CNBC misread, the way they displayed that headline with the Winklevoss ETF or the OKEX, FUD, but I don't really think that those have the same magnitude as the others. So it's really interesting and surprising to see.
Yeah, and if you look at it, guys, we're not just at this logarithmic diagonal resistance turn support or the 50-day moving average. We're also at the inverse head and shoulders neckline retest. And if you get a tweezer bottom off of this entire part after 7 red days in a row, like, I'm sorry, but I think it could seriously bounce here. I'm not sorry. I've been calling it because I've filled my longs. I've been averaging down, and I think it could bounce here. Michael, what do you think?
It should be critical, I guess. The 6.8 is the zone right now where it should be bouncing, and I guess if we lose that one, then I don't see anything below. I don't see it standing there or whatever bouncing at 6K, because the 6K area is literally exhausted right now. So if we lose the 6.8K zone, then we are in bad weather, I guess. So we should be bouncing from there, and I think we will. It's already, we are building some divergence as well. I don't know how valuable that is in the current bear market because we have seen so many of them. But yeah, I'm watching it as well. The only thing is that the weekly is ugly, very ugly. I don't know if you've seen that before. Well, it's so, like, I don't like it. The daily is good though.
Yeah, and I'll share my screen and show the weekly to you guys, so you can see it.
It's not the candle you would want to see though.
Yeah, the thing about the weekly is it's kind of got bearish engulfing written all over it on this candle. But again, it's coming right back down in the log to, and this is the daily downtrend line, not the weekly downtrend diagonal resistance, for whatever that's worth. But it's got to get going right now. We've got 5 hours for Bitcoin to do something.
Yeah, it's kind. I guess it will be mixed up with the. Is there the first ETF stuff going on this week?
16th, I think.
Yeah, or this week or the 10th. I don't know. There are some misinterpretations on that as well. But the next few days should be critical. If you bounce off the 6.8K zone and we see some serious volume coming in, then that's a good sign for the market. If we don't, then yeah, we go to some more bear market, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, the thing, I'm really interested to see heading into the 10th or the 16th or whatever, if the market kind of front runs those levels, those days to anticipate a potential bounce or a potential approval, excuse me. And if the market kind of like if there's a support at 6,800 and sometimes Bitcoin will front run it and all the orders will get filled at like 6,820, 6,850, right? Well, yeah. I'm imagining, what if it's something like that with the ETF approval, where a few days before everybody loads up and then
but that's I guess everybody on Twitter is waiting for the 6.8K zone right now. So what you can assume out of that is that there is a lot of buy pressure coming from that level. Yeah. So I don't believe we lose that level right now, as there is also some TA points with the MAs, with the head and shoulders pattern. So yeah, it's critical that we actually hold that level, because when we lose it with all the buy pressure right now and all the stuff, then, but even if the ETF doesn't approve right now, then we probably lose it. I don't see it holding then.
I completely agree with you. And I'm interested to see if it gets pushed back like 45 to 90 days, if the market's going to react negatively to that. Now, historically, this is a very irrational market, very news-driven market. To the downside, like, we've had so much good news lately, it hasn't done anything to it. But anytime we get bad news, the market dumps. And I'm interested to see what happens if they just delay it. But you were talking about the 6,850 mark, or the 6,800 mark, like right around there being a lot of buy pressure there. And just to show you guys why that's true, I'm on Tensor Charts right now, and Tensor Charts is a really good like kind of aggregate of that I use to see a lot where the volume orders and stuff like that are. I actually just discovered this from my iDraw charts yesterday off Twitter. But if you look at it, and we go from 69.10 all the way down to 67.50, and I think we need to hold 67.50 more than we need to hold 6,800. And you look at the level of all those orders and the volume of those orders versus like even up to 71.50, even up to 7,200. I think the bounce is in the bulls' favor right now. I think the bears have to attack that zone multiple times to try to make it fall through. So, and then that could take us right to the ETF decision date. So we'll see. It's tense times right now.
It's critical and very important right now. And Yeah, it's kind of like the 67.5 area towards 68.5 or whatever there is.
Yeah.
But yeah, what I said is that if we lose that area, then
Bad
yeah, it's
times.
gonna be very bad, I guess. But I don't. Why would we with all the fundamental driven good news and positive news we have seen in the past months about adoption and about the NYCSA coming out with the news last week, right? And the ETF stuff. I don't see any point in going down right now. But yeah, it's an irrational market, so.
And it's so fitting that you get that New York Stock Exchange news, the market still dumps, right? Because that was big news, man. Like to me, that was the biggest news that we gotten in Bitcoin in a long time, if not ever. And then we come back and retest this key level where potentially tweez are bottoming off of it. And it wouldn't shock me that after all that good news and leading up to the ETF date, if some market manipulation wasn't happening to fill up bags one last time before a potential approval. Now, I'm not a perma-bull by any means.
I am.
I'm fundamentally bullish, yeah. But
yeah, me too. But
the
like,
charts are the charts.
yeah, and kind of like the upwards run was already from the ETF stuff, but um, yeah, I'm just waiting for the next few days to close, and also the 2 days chart and the 3 days chart. They all show the same doji or tweeze bottom right now. If it turns green and the volume kicks in the next few days, then we're in a good zone, and then probably we'll see the altcoins bouncing upwards as well, as they are so oversold already.
So, what do you think? Bitcoin 100,000 in 5 days?
Yeah, sure, why not?
Yeah.
Well, actually, I've seen some charts going on right now that when the ETF gets approved, we will see a 3K candle in one day. Like,
for sure.
Maybe
I believe it.
I don't know, man. That's gonna be huge if that's true. I don't see it like that.
What do you think, Sandwich?
I mean, I don't think the ETF gets approved first go. You know, that's my opinion. But obviously we know that the ETF is definitely something bullish. It's a stepping stone for everything that's been going on. I'm not really surprised that we didn't pump and everything, or we didn't have any kind of reaction, to the New York Stock Exchange news. I think it is actually one of the biggest bullish pieces of information for several reasons, actually, that we've received in a while. One, since we're talking about the ETF, one of the things that was the issues with the Winklevoss ETF and previous ones was the fact that there's no major U.S. regulated exchange that they felt comfortable with having a lot of the index pricing and everything for the ETF. With this merger with Makai, if everything kind of times itself, they could be that U.S. exchange that they're looking at to be able to provide the level of security and anti-manipulation and the regulation that they're looking for. So even if we get this delay and we come time towards November, end of year, that's going to be around the same times that the New York Stock Exchange, assuming that everything with ICE approves and goes through, and that they're able to merge, solidify the company the way that they need to be. That could really be the last piece of the puzzle to that ETF and everything going forward. Yeah. And to me, when we get this first ETF, that just opens the door to everything going further. At that point, then we'll start seeing weighted ETFs, which are similar to, the index fund that Coinbase is reaching out with institutionals, ETFs that'll have a combination of different high cap coins. So it'll really open and broaden the exposure and everything to the crypto market. I think it's a huge level of stepping stones. And I agree. Unfortunately, it's really, really odd to see this massive retracement. The weekly candle, one of the worst weekly candles that we've actually seen in a while. Almost a full true bullish engulfing candle, or excuse me, bearish engulfing candle. So there's definitely some either manipulation. It could be people filling bags. It could be a lot of different things. We did have a parabolic uptrend with no retrace. So this could be a lot of result. As of that, we lost steam quickly. And now we were looking for a new demand area to be able to power back up and, really start going through. This next week is really going to be critical for price action to really see if we're going to be continuation of the bear market going forward, or to see if we're going to be able to start putting in some consolidation patterns with higher lows, lower highs, maybe, ranging between this like low 7K and high 8K range, just kind of ranging there back and forth for maybe a month or so, hopefully allowing alts to be able to do some things. I think people at this point have already somewhat priced in either the denial or delay of the ETF. And I think that may be part of this, dump that we received.
Yeah.
So I think
the market is, or at least sentiment on Twitter that I've seen, dominant.
Right.
It's going to get delayed. It's going to get denied. Nobody is saying that it's going to get approved other than like that Rand Nooner guy, but he's a perma bulltard. So
Rand Nooner is just like, I don't like him, man. He's just on national television, and on the other end, he's just sharing the C Classic fork again on Twitter, where he's making so much money. That's like not the way you should be doing it. But that's my own point of view. But I guess we have to see the ETF getting approved this week to actually see the market bouncing upwards. But on the other end, I do feel like we are almost at the bottom for altcoins right now. I don't know how you see it, but
yeah, I think we definitely could be
there. Actually, we should right now.
I definitely think that we could be, just because if you look at it, and I think we had talked about this before we went live, even the weekly candle on that Ethereum. Let me share my screen again, and you guys are free to share your screens as well if you want. There's just a little toolbar on the left. Is the green square. This Ethereum log trend channel over time has been a great, perfect predictor for alt season. And look what's happening off of this. I mean, it's like clockwork. And then if you go to actually, I think I shared this in my Telegram chat just recently. Yeah, this Pato Patino guy, a crypto banger off of Twitter, he shared this like 7 hours ago, and it's all season around the corner. BTC dominance is coming up on. I don't know why it's got.
Where is it?
Go. If this would go away, what in the world? Come on. You can see though, this is in the way. This downtrend line of BTC dominance. Okay, and it's kind of bouncing off right now. Mm-hmm. And any time that it's bounced off that line the last two times, and it's right at 50% horizontal resistance as well, we've had an alt season. So I think, I don't know, man. I mean, if the ETF gets denied, do you guys think, or if it gets delayed, do you think that could lead to an alt season?
I think so, just because of some of the other factors that you mentioned as well. Bitcoin dominance has always been a leading factor when seeing an alt season. I was looking for a 50-55% dominance rate before we started going into that alt season, but we did bounce right off that diagonal resistance that we've seen previously already before. We've shown that Bitcoin obviously doesn't necessarily have that steam to be able to make it into those high 50 percentile. So I think it's definitely a possibility. And even if it's not necessarily a true alt season like we've seen before, we could definitely see some relief because a lot of alts, like you pointed out, Ethereum, especially on the Bitcoin chart, I really like the weekly candle. It's showing up to be not quite a hammer, more of a doji, but that could easily be, showing a swing low pattern. And we know that when, Ethereum decides to take off in terms of Bitcoin pricing, it's typically when you start seeing a lot of the relief for some alts. So I definitely see some positive price action being a potential. I'm going to be careful, though. That's the only thing.
I guess we still have to see some sort of safety barrier on Bitcoin, that it has to find a sustainable level in order to get some new money going towards Ethereum. Because in the past few days, you have seen Ethereum bouncing against Bitcoin value, but in dollar terms, it's still the same level. So there's no new money coming into the market. So I guess we have to bounce from the 6.8K zone right now with Bitcoin to actually move upwards. And then people kind of feel safe to stay in Bitcoin at this point. And then I do feel like we are seeing some significant moves on the altcoin market. But that's just my own perspective on how the market should be working, I guess.
Yeah. It's a tricky time, man. I guess not since last year during the Bitcoin Cash fork, leading up to it. And then you had SegWit 2x as well. And everybody was really, really nervous about the future of Bitcoin, the future of altcoins. Altcoins were getting just pummeled because everybody wanted to have Bitcoin to hold for the fork date to get Bitcoin Cash. So nobody was buying alts. And But there was a lot of FUD in the market too about what was going to happen to Bitcoin afterwards, and if altcoins were going to die and stuff like that. And so not since last year, like it was almost right around this time, do I remember such a pivotal moment in the markets. This might be the most pivotal moment in the markets for me because, ETH is right on that log trend support line that we just showed. And if it falls through that, we could be in for some pain. Like best case scenario might be November, December alt season. Best case scenario, potentially. I mean, we'll see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but there's also, if you just check the projects on a fundamental point right now, so like many projects who have actually started last year, they are building the project, they are improving right now, so they actually released the first real products at the end of this year or the first quarter of 2019, then they started marketing and stuff. So then actually you get a new phase in all the projects right now, and that could actually trigger some new investments as well, or just new people joining into the market.
Yep.
So that's just all handling up at the same period of time. The ETF, the November New York Stock Exchange thing, altcoins getting to the next phase of their product if they are a real altcoin or a real project. So that lining up gives me the same sort of thought that we're at the end of this year or beginning next year, we'll see a new altcoin season and a whole market season as well, because it's just going through phases of the products and the project.
Yeah,
kind of feel like that.
That's a good pivot to, speaking of projects, what projects are you fundamentally bullish on? Do you have any favorite altcoin projects other than Bitcoin, or what do you typically look at?
I do enjoy Komodo. I really like them. I do like Stratis. I do like every platform really. Icon, OneChain, because I do feel like the platforms are the basis for the whole blockchain economy right now. So I rather just stay in these as they are the most secure investments right now, and also exchange tokens just to balance your portfolio. But Komodo mainly, I guess, and Icon and OneChain.
Yeah, we're gigantic fans of Icon. We are. It's amazing what's happened to that project, but they're looking at increasing the marketing, which they need to do. If you look at the Reddit, everybody's crying every single day about the lack of marketing communication, and they're going to address that. But you look at all the fundamentals of some of these projects, like you said, like Stratis, and it's sad because Stratis was almost blockchain 2.0, and then you look at Icon and the new platform protocols, and maybe Neo 3.0 when they update the roadmap. And it's like Stratis has been forgotten, but their multi-language support for writing smart contracts and decentralized applications, they're building themselves for enterprise and businesses, and they have a phenomenal dedicated team, and they've been in the market for a long time. And it's almost like everybody's forgotten about Stratis, and it's like Stratis is one of the best potential platforms, but it's almost like it was caught in the middle. It was later than Ethereum and earlier than all of these new projects, blockchain 3.0 projects that just came out. So
yeah, that's true. And I've been discussing this with some other guys as well, but Stratis has been releasing some real stuff in the past few weeks as well, but the price is just not reacting on it, and that's a shame because I think it could be one of the biggest winners in the market as well, because of the technology, because of the team behind it. So yeah, but I still hold it right now. There's no point in selling it, so I do feel like they have a bright future in front of them.
Yeah, I know for my long-term bags, and I say this in my group a lot. A lot of the ones that I hold are either very deflationary in supply, or like proof of stake coins. Like Icon's going to add staking, Neo has staking. I hold some Lux, and they have staking, and so it makes it easier to hold through a bear market with these alts that you love when you're getting paid a little bit during that time, and you just got to bide your time sometimes. Like so it can be a little frustrating, and a lot of people, I mean, I laugh because I see a lot of people saying we're never going to get an alt season again. And
we will. That's
the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, it's just so frustrating because these people just generally don't understand market psychology, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And Well, they are actually doing the market psychology because we're on a depression phase and they're just showing it. But it's kind of like people who have bought in January have had so many chances of actually selling these coins at just proper levels because it was just so obvious they were going to retrace.
Mhm.
So it's their own mistake for making multiple mistakes at once in the past few months. And if you just don't evaluate on that, then yes, screw you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they have no point in saying something right now. And there are also some investors who are just literally checking their portfolio every 10 minutes. But if you're an investor and you have an horizon of a few years, then you shouldn't be crying right now at all. They
For
should be
sure.
crying more.
Agreed.
Like,
And this bear market shouldn't be biting you like too much. And if it is, you're overinvested. And if you're new around here and you guys haven't ever followed me, I've always said, personally, I have a short-term quick flip stack. Okay. And that's typically like 30 to 40% of my overall portfolio. I have a swing trading stack, so weeks to months on a trade, and that's like 25 to 30%. And then I'll have that last like 30, 35% left for long-term holds. So only a portion of your portfolio should be getting murdered right now, because the rest of it, I mean, you guys got to stay liquid. You can't go over-invested into alts, and then the market dies and you sit there crying, and then alt markets typically reverse when you panic sell. It's just how it works.
yeah, and that's just how it works, and that's why the whole stock markets are just way overvalued right now as well. But I'm actually working at the Amsterdam Stock Exchange, and now our people are crying for a few weeks of bear market, but there are guys over there who have been in the bear market for like a few years in a row, with like trades being underwater for a few years as well. So be happy that you're that early in this market right now and that you have so many chances in a short period that you're actually learning how a market is working, and then you can develop a pretty nice skill in the future that you just take profits and just trade nicely, because it's pretty much easy if you just follow the daily time frame, right? So just learn from your mistakes, I guess, and if you're crying right now, then maybe you shouldn't be in the market.
Yeah,
because you're just greedy and you just want more profits.
What's really funny is that a lot, and one thing that, guys, if you're watching this, you need to make sure that you take this to heart. And I have my own group, and I told them at one point when the market fell through key resistance, I was like, guys, write yourself a letter right now about the emotions that you're feeling about your long-term holdings, about how scared you are, what you would tell yourself when you're overjoyed in the next bull market. Because you're not going to be able to even remember or tap into those scared emotions when you're near the top, because a lot of the people that didn't sell in time last time are going to get greedy and not sell in time next bull market as well. So it'll be interesting to see how many bag holders from this generation forget to take their profits on a massive scale and then get left holding bags again next alt cycle as well. So.
Yeah, but there are also so many people who have actually sold all their coins in the past few days. So they will be buying back when the market is going up, I guess. So it's quite funny. But yeah, that's how a market works. So people are leaving right now, and that's just emotions, because people came into the market without knowing anything about the projects past December, and they just came into the market for profits, and now they realize that it's not all sunshine. So that's how it works.
So you work in this like at a stock exchange. You just said, what is your view on the stock market being overbought? And then also, what do you think about, there's some people out there that say there's going to be capital flight from traditional markets to crypto markets once custody and institutions start ending up, like retail will start flocking into crypto because the gains won't be there in traditional markets. What's your view on that as well?
Well, I just have been saying for the past few months that the stock markets are just way overvalued right now, and the main example was Apple, I guess, just having the quarterly earnings earlier this week, and they went up with like 60 billion in one day. So that's the same hype going on right now in the technology market as well, as we have seen in Bitcoin in December, and I do feel like in the next few years it's actually falling down. And if Trump is triggering the trade war, then it's going to be faster, because it will hurt the economy in the United States and the global economy. But I do feel like that people are switching from the stock markets towards gold or commodities, and towards the crypto market, because there's no much upside potential right now in the stock markets, I feel like.
I agree.
what are your coworkers? Does anybody mention crypto, or is it just you, like being at the
No,
stock
actually,
exchange?
I'm at the Amsterdam Stock Exchange. We are the first one on the world having an investment fund at the stock exchange. I'm not working with them, but I'm just sitting there. And but these traditional stock traders, they trade Bitcoin as well on the side. Yeah,
Do
it's
they,
just like
do they trade that GBTC or whatever? Is it like that stock that's
no, they are just trading Bitcoin as well on Binance
Yeah.
or whatever they are using. So yeah, it's already starting up a little bit. And when you're in the OTC market, you know that the real big guys are actually buying in right now. The ones providing the ETF or whatever they are going to provide, they're actually buying in OTC right now.
Yeah.
over the counter, man?
That's
Yeah,
how the
that's-
ETF is going to function. It's going to be entirely over the counter. So
Yeah, true. But the big investment banks are buying in right now. So when you see that happening, and I can't share names because I've just signed a contract, so I'm sorry, but if you see that happening in the OTC market, then you know what's going to happen in the next few years because they are not buying in to sell them short with a loss or whatever. So that's actually what's going on right now.
yeah, I agree. I think one of the big things that people have to realize when they're, especially when they're comparing this, between market cycles in 2014 and now, Bitcoin's primary use case, first of all, is store of value. We haven't really had that need yet as a market to have a store of value. The market's otherwise economy itself has been booming the last few years. So when the market's boom, we don't have a
necessary. Kind of stopping right now, right?
Right. And so that's kind of my point. And so we are going to see Bitcoin's use case actually start coming into play. As you mentioned, trade wars and everything like that. If a lot of foreign economies and the like, if they start going into some of these recessions, they are going to start looking into some of these store of values. I mean, a lot of banks and things of that sort can use Bitcoin as a hedge against fiat dollar deflation and against inflation of products and services otherwise, because it's not tangible in those senses. So we may actually see Bitcoin's major use case come through over the next couple years as the economy decides to make its shift from the toppiness that it's kind of exemplifying right now. So that's going to be one of the big things to kind of be looking at. And you mentioned, like you said, all the banks and everything coming in. The biggest difference between 2014 and now, besides all of the black swan events that we had in 2014, is now, like you mentioned, there's a lot of big banks, a lot of the wealthiest people from different parts of the world that are basically sitting there and just trying to time the bottom. They're basically just sitting there and arguing, is 4K, 5K, or 6K, which is the best price for me to buy Bitcoin at? That wasn't really the case back in 2014 because it didn't have the same awareness across the globe and the same trust that it does at this point. So it's a totally different market space that we're in terms of the bear market. And if this isn't the bottom, it's somewhere really, really close by. So there really isn't that much blood left to be had, at least in terms of Bitcoin itself.
I mean, if you guys think about it, and I might sound like a broken record on this, but okay, there's just not enough Bitcoin to go around. Okay, there's 16 to 17 million max supply because
2 million is lost.
Yeah, 4 to 5 million's been lost forever. Like they discovered that with forensic blockchain analysis. So 16 million, there's not enough for every millionaire in the world to own one Bitcoin. And it's infinitely divisible. And then you forget all the millionaires and you just add normal people. And this is like a little over a year and a half before the next block halving. When that block halving hits and there's going to be half of the systematic selling for miners on the order books, things are going to get really crazy. Like I personally believe in the next 3 years we'll have $100,000 Bitcoin without.
Yeah, I do. So I do agree.
Do you think we'll ever get $1 million Bitcoin?
I've had that as an interview as well earlier at the newspaper. Same question. I said like a few 100K I do see coming. But $1 million, I'm not sure because I don't know whether Bitcoin will be the one standing out right then. Because it's pretty much easy to actually adapt to another one instead of like gold and going towards silver. That's going to be hard. But like building another Bitcoin, which is better, is pretty much easier to do, I guess, than just what you understand what I'm saying, right? So I don't know whether Bitcoin will be the number one in like 10 or 15 years from now.
Yeah.
Based on the
Yeah.
technology behind it.
Yeah, nobody knows what's going to happen 10 to 15 years from now.
No.
Yeah, I mean, Bitcoin, the difference between gold and Bitcoin, you can't fork gold. You can fork Bitcoin.
No,
so,
true, yeah.
Right. I mean, and obviously, we have Bitcash and everything right now, but, believer of Bitcash or not, 5 years, 10 years from now, why is there not going to necessarily be another fork, for example, that will be the better Bitcoin that does, same core value, same premises and everything, but just fixes some of the minor flaws and everything throughout. So that might be one of the things. I agree.
Another difference between Bitcoin and gold is you can't stick $1 million worth of gold up your ass and fly over across the world.
No,
you can with Bitcoin if you really wanted to.
That's the thing, right? Gold is just the first example, and Bitcoin is just a better example right now of gold because you can actually transfer it pretty much easy. You can hold it pretty much easy. So it's a store of value. But like, if we want to achieve $1 million, then actually we have to get rid of the dollar and the euro or whatever.
There'll be hyperinflation in fiat currency if we're going to see $1 million, in my opinion.
Yeah, because then it's just worthless. So like, yeah, we have to. But you can see it right now in some countries as well. In Venezuela, you see it right now. In Cyprus, we have seen it. In Zimbabwe, we see that Bitcoin is used as actually a solution for the inflation. So we might see it in the future, I guess. The inflation is going up already, I've seen. So it's quite interesting.
What's happened in Venezuela is insane. Like, they literally, for a loaf of bread, they weigh bags of money. They don't count the money. But the fiat currency, the petro.
In Zimbabwe, it's the same thing right now. Or at least last year with the hyperinflation, is that they have a premium market which is just regulated, or there's a premium on the price, and they pay people just in Bitcoin because when they get paid in Bitcoin, they can actually order bread the next day because it just stays stable and they are not on the inflation, or they don't have any problems with that. So it's actually just a solution for the inflation problem and just the whole economy, but we have to see a global crisis in order to get that through.
Yeah, and you never know. Maybe Ripple could be the one world currency.
Hopefully not, man.
I'm just kidding.
Somebody will be very rich.
Yeah. What do you guys think? A pre-mine 100 billion supply coin that's most of it is controlled by Ripple themselves. You guys don't see that one working out long term?
I mean, the technology of Ripple and everything itself is a different story. XRP is one of those unique scenarios where it's a pretty obvious scenario that the token is not necessary to the success of Ripple and the company that they are. They've built a name. They're an established, sector in the finance world already. So absolutely, Ripple Technologies as a company is likely to be successful. I don't know if XRP as a token is going to go alongside with it. It really kind of depends on what the saturation of the market comes to be a year or a couple of years from now, as we start seeing a lot of these major coins and currencies and everything start to fall off. Who knows? I mean, we'll really be able to get a lot more insight at that point. But I don't think I think XRP itself, it's not useful, basically.
Yeah.
But the question is also, do we see one global cryptocurrency, or are we going to see like more of them?
I think that we will see, like, I don't necessarily personally see Bitcoin as its best use case as security. I think its best use case is a store of value moving forward, and then cross-chain atomic swaps with Litecoin, where Litecoin or another currency that has Lightning, I mean, would be more of the currency aspect that you would spend, because you can push a button, move from Bitcoin to Litecoin. Litecoin is 4 times cheaper, 4 times faster. I mean, it just doesn't make sense to, like, you would hold Bitcoin, and then when you need to spend it, you'd spend it with Litecoin. That's my opinion. Or another coin, say Vertcoin, if you like Vertcoin, you name it. But I think with these tokenized economies, like, and I've said this before, if you look at Uber, right, the middleman is Uber, and they take like 30% of drivers' fees or whatever. But if you cut them out, and they have their own platform, and it's peer-to-peer drivers and riders, they rate each other, they self-balance the ecosystem that way, and then they pay each other in their tokens on that platform, or any token that they want. I think something like atomic swaps or decentralized exchanges where you can, when those get up to speed, I think a ton of tokens will be used
Yeah.
as currency. Personally, it depends on the ecosystem that you're partaking in, right?
Hmm.
Because that's like saying there's only one application for shopping online. Well, no, there's not. There's eBay, there's Amazon, there's Ibotta. I mean, you name it. There's like 5,000 ways to shop online. I guess it just, in my opinion, depends on what ecosystem you're taking part in and what works for you. So.
Yeah, but it's in every market, right? In the mobile phone market, they have like 15 different brands as well. So,
For sure.
like, I don't see one coin being the biggest one, but there should be one just standing out, right? Just
Right.
like Bitcoin being some sort of store of value. But there are so many different markets with so many different coins and so many different use cases that I guess we will see thousands of them, and probably 70% of them you generally don't even know in a year of 10 of now, I guess.
Yeah.
Like there are so many new projects starting up, and then it's just common sense, and then you probably won't hear any of them because you can also use them just in your own small community in your own town or whatever.
Yeah.
So
and I think decentralized exchanges and cross-chain atomic swaps are going to be the catalyst for that, because you can pay in whatever token that works for you and the counterparty that you're working with as well.
Komodo is going to be big, man.
Komodo versus Wanchain. I don't know. What do you think? You think both?
Komodo.
Yeah.
Just Komodo. I've not read a lot about OneChain, so but I do feel like Komodo is doing a brilliant job with the atomic swaps, with the decentralized exchange, with the decentralized ICOs. Although the decentralized ICOs, I think it's decentralized, um, and I do like the SongMar Piccolo Komodo. So yeah, I guess Komodo.
Yeah, Komodo was like that first platform that came out with privacy features as well. And then
Yep.
you'll get that with Wanchain as well. But Wanchain's more trying to attack the financial sector and the bank, and kind of like the banking sector and stuff. And we'll see. I mean, I don't think that one platform is going to win out, because I don't think any platform, until we get to Hashgraph, but I think we're years away from Hashgraph, because we've been doing blockchain for almost 10 years now, and we're still not up to scale. Whereas Hashgraph is a new technology. And so with blockchain, like, we've been doing this for 10 years, and Ethereum still can't handle being the one world supercomputer. So we're gonna need, like, if you look at it, interoperability between blockchains, that's everything that you need to know. Multiple blockchains talking to each other, they can handle their own throughputs on their side, and everything kind of works together to get the smart contracts and the commerce completed. So I don't know if that makes sense to you guys, but that's what I think.
I completely agree with you. Nice VeChain is moving a little. Yay.
VeChain's another one now.
Yeah, and with VeChain, I just opened a small position earlier today, so I'm kind of happy that I'm just scalping some profits.
VeChain is I'm holding VeChain long term, because VTHO is, actually, guys, check this out.
Actually, I've shared one tweet earlier a few months ago with what's that?
What is this? This is VeChain. What does this look like to you guys at the bottom here? Tweezer bottom, potentially. We'll see. Okay. I'm not getting crazy bolt-hard or anything, but we do have
I've been at the past few weeks, and I'm burning right now. So,
but Ethereum is bouncing off that logarithmic trend. So when you start seeing tweezer bottoms everywhere, with Ethereum being the proxy for alts, I mean, you can point it out. We still have to hedge and say, yeah, it's still bearish, but a little bit of hopium never hurt anybody, right?
Like, if everything is so bearish as it is right now, you have to turn bullish, right? So, like, at some point you start, but I've started a few weeks ago already, and now I'm still like holding. But yeah, I guess we should be starting bullish around here. You see the volume coming up as well on the altcoins right now, so that's pretty much good signal that there are so many that are buyers right here. So
yeah.
But VeChain, actually, when you saw the chart earlier last year with the run up to like 80K sets, it was due to fall. Like you knew that was going to fall.
Yeah, Alts got way ahead of their valuations.
There is no real valuation behind them. People have to understand it. It's just
all
like
speculative.
supply and demand. Yeah, there's no product, there's no revenue, nothing. So there's no value backing them up.
And there's not anything that they're being used for either right now. So
nobody is using them.
Everything is entirely speculative value at this point.
Well, timeout, because expose.org in the chat says that they use Verge every day.
Yeah, well.
Okay, all right, fine.
Nice. Good point.
Very nice. Well, great success.
Oh no, God.
You pervert. Have you guys ever used Verge to buy anything?
Nope.
I have only used Bitcoin for a couple of random purchases on Craigslist and the like. That's really the only use case I've actually had out of like crypto besides making money.
You know, you can go to cheapair.com, I believe, and buy flights and shit buy vacations and stuff with Bitcoin.
Really?
Yeah. And Tiger Direct takes it.
I might buy my New York flight in a couple weeks with Bitcoin. That might make things easy.
Why are you going to New York?
Just for a couple days in October with my girlfriend.
Are you going to Chicago?
Yeah, I'm going to be going with you. I've been a little bit out of commission this week, so we'll catch up and everything on there. But yeah, I have full intentions of being at Voice on the Blockchain with you. So,
Michael, you gotta fly over to Chicago and go to Voice of Blockchain. Well, we can hook you up with a hotel and free tickets.
I'm going to Vegas at the end of October. World Blockchain Summit it is, I guess. I don't know. I've forgotten the name, but yeah, I'm going to the States at the end of October.
Have you ever been to the States before?
Nope.
Uh-oh.
And I'm a gambler as well, so I'm not bringing my my cards or whatever, so otherwise I'll be broke, I guess.
Do they take Bitcoin in Vegas? No? Maybe?
I've no idea. I hope not.
I don't know. Maybe hookers do. I'm not sure, but I don't think
probably
casinos do.
No, I don't know, but I'm going to Vegas or to Malta. I don't know which one because it's the same week.
Or to where?
Malta.
Malta.
Yeah.
What's Malta like?
That's like the hotspot in Europe for blockchain. Everybody's going there. Binance is going there as well.
Yeah, I know that, but like, is it nice? Is it a nice area?
It is. It's like a small island with 30 degrees all summer and beautiful women and stuff. So also a gambling place, so it's cool.
That's a nice start.
Yeah.
It's like the Vegas of, well, Vegas isn't an island, and it's really it's really hot, but
yeah, it's not that big, but it's just a nice atmosphere. So like, yeah, I don't know which way I'm going, but if the bear market is still holding on, then I'm going to Malta because it's cheaper.
Yeah. Vegas is a good time, man.
Yeah, but it's going to be expensive, man.
Well, here's the thing: is like I would not recommend spending 7 days in Vegas. I spent 3 days in there, and then with my wife, so it wasn't even like a crazy party. And then after 3 days, I was like, dude, I got to get out of here. I'm gonna die. Like, I don't know. I don't know if I could do 7 days in Vegas.
Yeah, but I'm from Amsterdam.
Go to the Grand Canyon.
I'm getting used to that stuff, right? So
you're from Amsterdam. How's Amsterdam, man?
We just had the gay pride, so
yeah.
I'm hungover right now, but I'm okay-ish.
I thought you were done drinking. I thought you.
Yeah, I stopped like 2 days ago, so I'm kind of getting to it. But small party at the gay pride, so yeah.
There you go.
But it's fun times, man. You can go on every day here.
Yeah, there you go. Good stuff. I haven't been to Amsterdam. I think I'm gonna go to Europe next year with the wife, and I don't know if you take the wife to Amsterdam though.
That might not be the way to do it.
Kind of like no, but I'm not sure.
Because I'll tell you what, she'll get arrested. She's a party ant. I'm just kidding.
Okay. You ain't, right? Okay.
Yeah. What about Sandwich? Have you ever been overseas?
I have. I've been to London. I've been to South Africa, and I've been to a couple places like on cruises and stuff like that. And obviously, I'm technically overseas right now. But yeah, London and South Africa.
Yes.
And Mexico, I guess that counts as well, sort of, and Canada. Those have been the places I've been outside of U.S. Amsterdam is definitely one of the places that I want to make it to at some point. So it's on my list probably in the next 3 years or so.
Is that your third beer?
Yes, I'm on number 3. I actually have like a little cooler next to me this time, with some ice in it so that I don't have to walk away to the fridge on the podcast to refill.
How hot is it in Puerto Rico right now?
Probably like 80, 82. Let's see. Let me look at the weather real quick.
What's that?
Celsius?
I don't
know. Fahrenheit.
I know,
What?
I know.
What's that in Celsius?
I'm gonna guess
85. 85 is
85
what it is currently.
to Celsius. 29.4.
There you go. You were close.
The 30, just like he said earlier.
That's cool.
Well,
It's actually one of the oldest summers over here right now. We've had like 7 weeks straight of sunshine with like 38 degrees, which is not common for us. Actually, it's 45 degrees in Portugal right now.
Wow.
Yeah, people die out of it. Yeah, for like 5 weeks straight also. Like, it's just massive, man.
I wouldn't go outside.
Let me ask you this, Michael, because Coinbase just added support for Great Britain pound. Do you think that's a big deal?
Every adoption is a big deal, right?
Yeah.
So everything that's working towards it, it's a big deal.
And when it's supplied by Coinbase and everything as well, a lot of people for some reason don't like or distrust Coinbase, and I don't really understand that. I think Coinbase is really, really good for the space. They've done a fantastic job in terms of staying relevant and implementing new products at the correct times and everything for us. So having them show more support internationally, more than just the heavy North American support and everything that they already have. I think that's good. It shows expansion. They are one of the companies that are leading in terms of institutional investors right now with their index fund and Coinbase. I forget the name of it for Coinbase for institutions.
Coinbase
and they've
Prime.
even Coinbase Prime. Thank you. And they even just announced that they're looking into support for several different tokens and everything for Coinbase Prime and everything as well. So you would imagine those are going to be something that I would assume would be part of one of their weighted index funds, because I would imagine they're going to have more than one option over the long term of things. So expanding internationally means that you're expanding those future technologies and everything internationally as well. So I think it's definitely relevant.
I'm just super interested to see just the connections that blockchain can make in terms of connecting economies, connecting peers, like connecting technologies, just all of it. It's gonna be. I'm just super excited. And it's easy to get caught up in the charts right now, and people are worried about like a year-long bear market from here. But here's the thing: is like that's still not long if you believe in this space. It's just a year. Like, how spoiled are we that we're expecting 10 to 20 X's on all of our bags within the next year, even the next 6 months or whatever? And if it's a year to a year and a half from now, people are devastated. Whereas you go in traditional markets, it'll take you 10 to 20 years to hit a 10X, like if you're lucky.
It's like peanuts, man. Peanuts. It's just if you have to wait for 1 year because you have made a mistake buying too high right now, you should be happy right now, because in a few years from now, normally you'll just laugh about it. I guess because it's such a new market, right? In the traditional markets, what I said is people have to wait a few years before they get in profit, starting a bag from somewhere or whatever. So, and I guess this market is just starting up, and the majority of the people who are whining right now or whatever, they don't show up at actual meetups or whatever. Yeah. And I just advise everybody to show up at meetups, because then they see what's going on in the space, and where you just see all this from the community and people building on stuff, you see the energy and what's going on, and that we're just starting up, and everybody's expecting new bull runs to come. So
awesome. Well, you guys got anything else? I think that's pretty comprehensive. We went over Bitcoin, went over Ethereum, what we think about alt season, future adoption, traditional markets, some of our favorite projects, Amsterdam, Vegas. Michael, you got anything you want to shill your Twitter, Instagram, anything, YouTube? I know you got YouTube.
Nothing. Just buy Komodo, then I'm fine.
Just buy Komodo. Buy his bag, guys. What's
Buy
your
my bag.
all right? So let me ask you this: what's your target for Komodo? Like, where will you sell?
I'm just generally holding. I don't have any target for it.
No.
Like, I've got it in my long-term bags, and I haven't checked it for a few days, and I think I won't be checking it for the next few weeks. But
how long is long term for you?
For my investments bag, I generally have like 3 to 5 years as holding, like just holding it, and I'm just checking it every month to where it's standing right now, and just swing trade it to get more of these coins.
Yeah.
Like the investment horizon should be multiple years in order to get it as an investment. Otherwise, it's just a trade.
Yeah.
And with Komodo, you can get interest as well. And I just want to hold it for multiple years and just build my portfolio because I do believe that it will be more valuable in the future.
Do you think Ethereum is going to have a place in the future, or do you think its scaling challenges are too big?
I don't think. I do believe that they will be there in the future, but not as big as they are right now in dominance, right? I think they will lose value because they are a forced runner, and I do feel like other projects will pass them.
Just
I don't
because
know
of
how you think
capabilities.
about it, but
I think we've pretty much covered this topic earlier. Is that look, there's going to be multiple platforms, multiple protocols, and right now Ethereum is the dominant one percentage wise. But
yeah,
I don't think, I mean, percentage wise, I don't think that's going to go up in the future. I think it'll just naturally go down as more platforms and protocols are adopted. Now, I think Ethereum is going to have a place if they can scale, right? Like if Plasma and sharding and everything is a success and they can actually do it, then I think Ethereum will be huge. But we're so early into these markets that these other platforms and protocols haven't been adopted by decentralized applications yet and enterprises and stuff. And once they do, it'll just naturally take some from Ethereum and it'll even out, and you'll have interoperability between all of these platforms and protocols where they can actually talk to each other and work together and stuff like that. So I don't think Ethereum is the be-all, end-all. I think it'll be big, but I think a lot of shit's going to be big.
Yeah, I agree on that. That should be a good conclusion for this one, I guess, or not?
Yeah. Michael, or Sandwich, you got anything else?
No, I'm with you. I want to see what Plasma does in terms of Ethereum, but otherwise, we already know these next couple weeks are going to be critical for the market, and preserve your capital, everybody.
Yeah.
Bull run's going to come. Just don't lose all your money in the meantime.
Yeah.
That's all.
Awesome. Well, guys, if you want to keep following me, if you want to follow Michael, our information is down in the description. Please make sure that you like the video, share it with your friends, subscribe if you want to see more Bitcoin and Beers episodes, and we will be with you next Sunday with The Range, with Crypto Range on Twitter. So check him out, see if it's something that you'd be interested in. Yeah, so I will catch you guys later. Michael, thank you so much for coming on, brother. I appreciate it. It was a good talk.
Cheers, man. Thank you.
All right, guys. Peace.